right? So these events basically started the pushback towards protectionism and nationalism. We have to protect our product. We don't want to buy from other one. So like, buy American, be American. This is protectionism. You are feeding people that okay, you don't need to buy Russian goods, you don't need to buy Japanese goods. So this is nationalism and protectionism. You are protecting your industry, and you are making uh, you know national state. So nationalism means in which everything is controlled by the government, not private sector. So these are the other stuff. USMCA, Trans-Pacific Partnership, right? Okay, now the real deal here. What are the benefits for globalization? First of all, the comparative advantage. So the law of comparative advantage says the nation should focus on production on the goods they can produce at a lowest cost. So this creates a win-win situation. If I can produce cars at low cost, I should focus on making cars. If other countries, agricultural country, it can produce agricultural products at lowest cost, so it should focus on agricultural products, and then they trade. So when they trade, it become a win-win situation, a win-win transaction, right? So essentially saying a rise tide floats all boats. Whatever you are best in that, just produce on a massive scale, not only to fulfill your home country demands, but also export it to other countries. And in return, you buy the goods which your people need, so you can easily trade that. So what is the advantage here? Trade can make everyone better off. So globalization benefits all trading partners. So what are the disadvantages here? So can you comment on that? Anyone? If this is so good that everybody should produce its own, product which in which it has specialization, it has advantage, then is there any case against the globalization? Phillips, Drew, Julia, Justin, anyone who want to comment on that? Nisha?
Maybe it lacks of competition then.
Okay. Mately, Mately, you want to comment on that?
No.
Okay. Oliver, Jiangui, Julia, Elias. Drawbacks.
Sir, I said about the maybe there's not new innovation or competition.
No, that is the positive point of globalization. Because if you are good in making laptops, so you will be definitely accepting all the innovations which can, improve my laptop production and laptop, capacity and efficiency and its memory and its, you know, processor. So I will be keep innovating myself, and I will be more
Sorry,
effective.
can you repeat the question? And
Question is the
yeah, the question is like,
drawbacks of the drawbacks for globalization. Drawbacks.
ah, well, one of the biggest drawbacks is the increasing inequality both between countries and within countries because of globalization. maybe between countries, thanks to globalization, it has been decreasing, but within countries, especially in developed countries, it has increased radically
Mhm.
in the last years.
One
And
point.
also the fact that um, some countries that have comparative advantage in exporting technology goods might be benefited, but some countries that just export agricultural goods or goods that are not related to technology might not benefit a lot from in globalization and especially international trade.
We call this inequality, right? Okay, good, Pablo. Let's just talk about the case against globalization. The first one is that the downside for globalization is that critics of globalization maintain that jobs were leaving developed high labor cost nations and flowed to cheap labor cost nations. That is the biggest point right now at the moment that US is accusing of China. All our specialized labor force, nobody wants to give contracts to us. Everybody wants to give contracts to China because over there is a cheap labor. So plus, like Pablo said, quality compromised. If the cheap goods worldwide created a wage stagnations for the middle class. So that's right now it's happening in China. So the workers who are working in factory, so their wages are just fixed from, if you see the time period, their wages are not increasing. It's just, they maintain the level. That's it. So no matter whether you are producing 1,000 units or 10,000 units, your salaries are fixed so that they can exploit this cheap labor stuff. And then the most important stuff is inequality. What if I am good at exports of IT products and I increase my prices? And if other country is good in making agricultural products and agricultural products, they have shelf life, so their value is decreasing. So they has to sell the product. That's it. Otherwise, it's perishable stuff, right? And when they trade, the IT products way higher than the agricultural product. So this create wealth inequality. So which is nowadays we call this capitalism, right? So globalization is not the end solution for every problem. It is also harming the globe as well, right? Some groups are, have got, benefited by this globalization, especially the developed countries like US, UK, right? So they are, benefited from this globalization, but other countries they are not, because of the biggest one is inequality of wealth. Similarly, OECD countries, OGRA countries, oil producing countries, so they meet together, they join hands together, they make a cartel, and they increase the prices of crude oil. It creates a chain effect, a worse effect in global economy, and it further creates wealth inequality. Right? So now the real question. We understand the globalization, we understand the different perspective and attitude of the globalization. Now, what are its managerial implications? If you would be working, so what will be your view and what type of organization you are working with? So how you are going to decide which, decision is good, or at what point I should take this decision or compare between the decisions. So globalization will continue despite its drawbacks. So why? Because infrastructure is already here. Every country has signed. 161 countries have signed the WTO, and other national regions regional, national, treaties. So we cannot deny the globalization, right? Plus, there is going to be an unemployment due to the technology. So how you are going to manage all these stuff? So managers need some kind of skills which would be uses in globalizations today, because there are new challenges that are arising with the globalization stuff, and biggest challenge is now AI. I'm sure you have heard chat GPT, right? So its
Yeah.
existence and all the stuff, how it will be changing the organization and what kind of jobs it will take over and how many people they are going to lose jobs, right? So you, as a manager, because you are the graduate business graduate, and sometime and at some point you would be in a managerial role either for your own business or either working in a company. So you need to decide in globalization. So what kind of company you are working with? With either it is multinational, either it is multi-domestic, either it is global or transnational. So what is the difference between these four? What do you mean by the multinational company?